you write out the line, and you go, oh my God, look at this. So I told Gerald about it, and Gerald played bass on that project. You know, we sort of recreated the tracks. He said, oh man, that's Jamerson. You should do a book on him. So I was in the NAMM show in Chicago, and I thought, well, you know what? It's near Detroit, so let me take a train to Detroit and see if I can find Jamerson's widow, because I heard I did a little research, found he died, and the union gave me the name of, the number of Ann Jamerson, and we hooked up, and little by little, things started to come together. I really didn't know what I was doing, and 3 years later, I had spent $64,000. I had racked up huge hours writing and researching. And I had become friends with a lot of these great bassists because I realized, how am I going to get James' name? Nobody knows. How am I going to get? So I decided to go after a lot of celebrity bassists. And I thought, I made these CDs to go with the book, and I'd have him play, and I thought that would bring his name out of the dark, which is what happened. So one of the first three big cogs were Will Lee, who graciously agreed to play. I think he did Grapevine. Then I read some stuff about Phil Chen, and bass player. He was a big Jamerson fan. Phil and I became lifelong friends since then. We talk all the time. And then Phil hooked me up with Pino, and Pino played just an incredible. For Once in My Life. Yep. And things just started rolling. And the next thing you know, I didn't know what I had done. The book was released, and I had no idea what happened. What I had done, except that I was broke as hell and I owed every credit card under the world, and which nothing changed since then anyway. That's a long story. You don't know that. So anyway, and the book comes out, and I get a call from Dave Marsh, who's the great rock critic, whose wife manages Bruce Springsteen, and he wrote all those books about Springsteen. And he championed the book. He's a Detroiter, and he fell in love with the book, and it wins the Ralph J. Gleason Award from Rolling Stone. So, they say a little success is a dangerous thing. So I decided, hey, maybe there's a film in this. And that started 10 years of pounding the pavement, trying to get money, and finally got $3 million or so in 2001 made the film. So Junior was a huge cog, obviously, because he got me all the West Coast. He got me Ready Freddie Washington. Who else?
Alan McGrair, Nate Watts.
Yeah, so he was that connection. And of course, James played an amazing version. Phil played Reach Out, James played What's Going On. And he had the Upright at the time. And then we got huge press. I was basically just nagging press. I'm a whiner to begin with, so I just got on the phone and just started whining. I just constantly called up and begged the critics, and they wrote about it, and they wrote about it in glowing terms, because apparently all these critics knew about Jamerson, but they didn't. It was a dead issue. He was dead. He was buried. Blah blah blah. And we got this huge press, and the book has sold over 100,000 copies at this point, and that's spurred the movie, and the Funk Brothers got a new career, and but all this time, it was only because of all these great players like these three guys and the rest of the contributors, because that's what pulled it out of the shadow. So I always feel very indebted to